Every year, thousands of people living with disability face the prospect of having to move out of their homes and into a nursing facility, usually because of a lack of resources or equipment necessary to make their homes accessible. In the next few minutes, you will witness the type of struggle many families face every day and the determination and sacrifice required of them to try to remain together, holding out hope for living at home. Composing and communicating on his computer creates connections for Sean Green, linking him to his own emotions, to his family, and to the outside world. Sean has cerebral palsy. It affects his ability to speak, to move, and to live independently.
Because he is not able to walk or do the physical activities on his own, it's necessary for someone to lift him in and out of his chair, in and out of the bed, into the bathroom.
And much of that lifting has been done with love by Emily Estes, his caretaker for 32 years. She took Sean into her home when he was 3, and she and her children and now grandchildren embrace Sean as family.
Home is the best place for most people, without a doubt. It's having those that love you and care for you best right there with you.
Care at home, while always the right thing for Sean, is increasingly more difficult for Emily and the other family members.
When I was younger, Sean was younger, it was a lot easier. But he's grown larger and I've grown older. And so it's just become a little bit more difficult. And there's a safety issue for him and for me.
Enter the gift of a lift.
I had tried for over 3 years to get it through insurance and it had been denied as a convenience item.
Convenient, yes, but for Sean and Emily, this lift is essential, life-changing, and future securing.
I can't imagine Sean living in another situation, in a place where people did not know what his needs were, where someone might not understand what he was needing. He is safe in me lifting him with this lift. He feels secure. I feel secure with it. It's given me the sense that I'll continue to be able to provide the care that Sean needs for, I guess, the rest of my time and his too. These sorts of things are priceless.
A priceless gift, not only for what it can do, but for what it represents. You see, this life-giving gift was born of another family's grief and given to Sean and Emily straight from someone else's broken heart.
She was a very bright soul. She came in and brightened the world. She was a winner and a fighter.
Janice Strang speaks glowingly of her 29-year-old daughter, Heather, born with a form of cerebral palsy, but also with a strong determination.
She wanted to get up and go. There was too much and life was too short.
Unable to control her arms or hands, Heather used her feet to operate her beloved horse-drawn cart, her computer, and even her wheelchair.
So you're going to come toward me, then you're going to turn. You're an excellent driver.
Heather was tube fed. She had to be lifted in and out of her wheelchair. She had to be transferred physically by myself from the wheelchair to the shower chair or to the bed.
And it's a very awkward, sometimes you might call it even dangerous procedure.
A burden Janice gladly bears, anything to keep her daughter in her home.
In lifting Heather for 29 years, my back has taken its toll. There was a situation many times where it was difficult with my back to even stand up and walk. Could I still take care of my daughter? And that was a fear that Heather had. She didn't want me to hurt myself either. She was so afraid she would have to leave home.
Are we good to go? Yep. Okay. What do you think about that? Yeah.
It was an installation of hope that took away Heather's and Janice's fear of having to be separated. Jim Carl and his team from All-in-One Accessibility installed an electronic lift for Heather and Janice, courtesy of the efforts of the Metro Fair Housing Services of Atlanta.
People with disabilities and their families and our society in general have such a huge need for accessible housing.
J.D. Frazier is chairman of the board at Metro Fair Housing, an organization which provides tenant-landlord fair housing counseling and investigates rental, sales, and lending complaints. He says insurance companies, federal and state governments, and overall public policies often set up roadblocks to fair and accessible housing. In the Strangs case, it took a settlement in a national private lawsuit to make funds available to help them and other families adapt their homes for accessibility.
We were asked to do the testing in Georgia of a number of apartment complexes that may or may not have been accessible and in compliance with the ADA and the Fair Housing Act. Turns out there was a substantial national developer, AG Spanos, that it is argued was not in compliance. When the lawsuit was filed and Metro joined, Michael Spanos stepped up to the plate and provided the private dollars through a settlement to make sure that he could make his mark and help make apartment complexes or anybody else's structures accessible for the people who live there.
This is your new unit that's going to help everyone pick you up and put you down comfortably without hurting you.
When we discovered this family and their need, it just was a no-brainer that this is exactly what these resources were designed to do, was to go and help make this family be able to stay in their home and be able to, for the caregivers to be able to transfer this young lady properly and safely inside the home.
Say hi, Heather. Oh, hi, there you go.
This type of lift and the track that it runs on is battery operated, charge it every day, and it allows a family to install a component like this either upon construction or upon retrofitting.
Frazier says making homes like this one near Atlanta accessible to people living with disability is not only a matter of preference, it's a matter of cost efficiency and ultimately a matter of dignity.
Two major options for someone with a disability is to stay at home or to go into a nursing facility. The latter is just a no-brainer to not do. The cost is way out of whack. It costs $4,000 or $5,000 per month for an individual to stay in a nursing home. You lose the opportunity for that individual to get an education, to become socialized with their peers and remain in their home with their family, to potentially get a job at some point and become a tax-paying citizen.
And then you could transfer into the other chair, or you could transfer into bed.
Accessibility and dignity, just part of the blessing the Strangs experienced with their new adaptive device.
Heather? Good? Yes? It was interesting. For the first time, it was interesting.
I can't tell you how much that lift meant to us, because Heather, to be institutionalized, she wouldn't have lasted 30 days. I don't think I could have handled the institutionalization either. It would have, I couldn't have lived with my daughter in those conditions. Too many times there have been things, and I know they try to make them safe, but there are just too many ways that things go wrong. By having this lift, again, it would make all the difference for her staying at home, for being able to express her life and live her life.
A life expressed so fully and fought for so valiantly, until an infection which Heather's body could not overcome cut short her life. Heather died just weeks after receiving her new lift.
We certainly would have liked to have used that equipment a lot more, but are so thankful for that gift, and those are the things you need to pay forward.
And pay it forward Heather did when her mother Janice, through Metro Fair Housing, passed on the much-needed lift to Sean Green and Emily Estes.
She'd have liked to meet the young man, I'm sure. I know Heather would have been very, very proud to see that this is what needed to be done with the equipment. There's no question. She was always one to be there, to want to help others.
The gift Given under the circumstances that it was, it's just an awesome blessing to us. There's just no way to express what this means to us.
J.D. Frazier of Metro Fair Housing says for families like the Strangs and Estes, accessible housing and the ability to live at home will remain a struggle until society puts pressure for change.
No matter how much the families care about their family member, they really have to be able to put the resources together to have their house modified or to have an accessible apartment. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck in a nursing home, in an institution.
Been working hard on your rehearsals though, haven't you? Your life goes on. The things that we get to do, our vacations together, our going to church, our shopping trips, our just walking around outside, those sorts of things, even the best institution can't replace a family. It will not replace a family.
Sean Green is among the people living with disability who are fortunate to be able to remain in their homes, but there are many, many others who are not able. You can help give hope to people living with disability to remain with their family, hope for living at home. For more than 30 years, Metro Fair Housing Services has served the Atlanta area by helping to prevent discrimination in housing. Please call Metro Fair Housing Services or visit metrofairhousing.com. You can make a difference in the lives of people who desperately need your help. You can help keep families together and help people with disability live in their homes. Reach out today and do what you can to help give hope for living at home.